Hello everyone. I'd like to welcome you aboard Montana Air flight to nowhere today. This flight I'm going to walk you through the Dynon Skyview and the taxi diagrams, the georeferencing. And as you can see on the right screen there, I just pulled up the diagram for the Bartow Airport. If you're not familiar, Bartow is located in Central Florida, just about 10 miles from Lakeland, the home of Sun and Fun. Let me give you a little background as we taxi out. This airplane is a RV-7A. It's been flying for about 5 years now. It has dual 10-inch Dynon Skyview. It also has the VPX Pro in it. As you can look around, you don't see any circuit breakers. It has all electronic circuit breakers. And I'll take you around starting on the left-hand side. In the upper left-hand corner on the left side of the pilot, you'll see the red switch. That's the master switch. And the yellow one next to that is the alternator. This has dual alternators in it. It has a 60 amp primary alternator, and then it has a secondary 30 amp, also a primary alternator. So it'll run. It's capable. Either alternator is capable of running this whole airplane. Landing lights on. Lit up like a Christmas tree. So it has dual alternators. It's a completely electronic airplane, so it's always best to be on the safe side. The two switches underneath that are the power to the dual E-mags, electronic mag system that it has on it. You have to have at least some power going to the mags during starting. And once you get over about 900 RPM, the internal, what they call internal alternators, kick in, and the mags are self-sufficient. So as long as you're above, 800 or 900 RPM, the mags are all self-sufficient. The white switches under there are how we ground the mags out. So right now we're running off of both mags, and we'll show you through the run-up process, and we'll check that. The blue switch all the way down in the lower left-hand corner, that's the avionics switch. And the red switch next to that is the pitot heat. And the switch underneath that, that's the push to start. Right now we're swinging around into the run-up area. You can follow that a little bit on the right screen, and you can see me spin around. I'll have to apologize for this video in the sun. The glare is going to be a little bit bad. Okay, right now what I'm doing is Dynon Skyview has a checklist set up. So right now I'm doing the run-up checklist. The only thing I'd like a little bit better would be if you could check off each thing on the list, but you really can't. You can scroll down through it and highlight each one, but you can't like hit enter and check it off as being completed. So I just usually leave it like that, and I just visually go down through it and work on it that way. The radio stack is basic. It's got a PS Engineering audio panel. It's got the GTR 225 comm radio, and it also has a GNS 430 WAS capable GPS system in it. Each screen also has a WAS enabled GPS. It's built right into the Dynon Skyviews. And right now you can, here I'm pushing the power up to go ahead and do the mag checks. This has an 0360 in it, so it's carburetor heat and stuff. So there's the first mag there, it's the white switch. And we'll drop the second mag offline. Looks like it's a pretty smooth drop today. And there's the carburetor heat. What we look for here is that the carburetor temperature, which I have, increases, and also that the exhaust gas temperatures increase evenly. The push-pull one to the right-hand side of the fuel pedestal there actually controls the air going over the oil cooler. So at altitude, this cools very efficiently, so we have to kind of control the air. Up in that upper left-hand corner, now I'm on the auxiliary alternator, and then I'm off, and now I switch back to the primary alternator. In that case, I just look for the voltage drop. I'm usually in a charge situation of 14.3 to 14.5, and I just watch it drop off to battery voltage and then come back on. The VPX system in this airplane can be also superimposed on the screen, and I apologize I didn't pull that up on this one, but I'll do that in another video. This plane also has a full coupled autopilot with flight director. Right now I'm just dialing in the altitude that I want. As we blast off, here I'm reviewing the takeoff checks. All the switches below the Garmin GPS are all my lights. The very left-hand yellow one is the boost pump, and the blue capped ones are all my lights, landing lights, nav lights, strobes. The other yellow one on the other end there, that's an autopilot disconnect. If for some reason can't disconnect it in some other way, I can just drop the power to all the servos. The rheostat there is for nighttime, and it all has red LED adjustable lights for the internal parts of the cockpit. And right now we're just getting our clearance to take off. Bartow is a tower controlled field. It's an old Air Force training base. P-51s such, and also the T-37's initial training back in the 1950s and 60s. And right there, it's lights, camera in action, boost pumps on, lights are on as we approach the runway. You can see in the left-hand screen, it's all synthetic vision, so you can see as we're taxiing out onto the runway stripes, as you can see in the left-hand screen. Once you start flying with these type of glass cockpits and stuff in the Dynon, I really like it a lot. The Dynon does a really good job. So, and the RV. This is an RV-7A, it just leaps off the runway. So as soon as you get the full power in, as I'm pushing it all the way up, it's basically rotation time now. So we're going to be up, and we're off the ground at that time. I'm off the ground in probably about 400 or 500 feet is all. And what I do in this case is I'll pick up best angle of climb, and then I just point the nose to the sky, and I just try to climb as fast as possible. You know how it is. Right here you can see that I'll try to carry somewhere around 1,500 to 1,200 feet a minute all the way up through. By the time I get to the end of the runway, I'm usually passing through 700 or 800 feet. It really climbs well. If you're building the RVs, you really enjoy them. I don't have anything nasty to say about them. They have really good flight characteristics. They're fully aerobatic. And right now I'm just pulling for this flight, I'm just pulling it back to 25 inches of manifold pressure, which will give me about 80% power or so. And I'll maintain 1,200 feet a minute up through, and I can carry 1,000 feet a minute almost up through 5,000 or 6,000 feet, and then I'll usually taper it down to 700 feet a minute up through 9,000 or 10,000 feet, and that's where I normally fly. I usually fly anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000. That's the most efficient. The cowling has a kind of a ram induction system in it, so I get an extra inch of manifold pressure almost at every altitude. So I've flown as high as 14,000 feet, and I still true out at 150 knots. And that's basically what I file my flight plans for, is 150 knots. And I'll burn approximately in cruise, I'll burn 7 gallons per hour once I'm at altitude. I usually I do my flight planning for an average of 8 gallons an hour all the time, and that includes climb and cruise and descent, and it comes out almost perfectly for me. So And you can see here I'm going through 3,000 feet, and you know, I'm still at 1,200 feet a minute, but I'm not at my best angle of climb now. I'm basically at a cruise climb, and you can see I've got about 75% power is all. And it's always nice. It's a bumpy day today, and in Florida, you know, you always kind of want to climb as fast as you can to get out of the bumps. At least I do. This has pretty high wing loading, so you do get bounced around quite a bit if you're not careful. And I apologize for the glare. I just, unfortunately, I didn't realize that it was shining into the camera, and hopefully I'll keep turning here, and we'll be out of it in a little bit. So. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just an introduction. I'm going to have a number of different videos for you. I always want to encourage you to continue to build. If you're building an RV, just continue to keep building, keep building, keep building. This took me 5 years to build. I started when I was 45. My goal was to be flying it when I was 50, and that's what happened. But it took some commitment. Get out there and pound some rivets. And this is this is what you can have, and it does fly just like described. Have a nice day.